Hey guys, thanks for clicking on the video. Back for another one. So today I thought I'd give you a closer look at Trini. It's about time I attempted to give her a bit of a review, so rather than me sitting here gassing, let's get on with it. Right then, so this is Trini, short for Trinity. She's my Scorpion FS26 recumbent trike from a company called HP Velotechnik. It's a German company. I'll leave a link to their website down below in the description. If you want to know any of the technical specs for a Scorpion trike, have a look at their website, it's all on there. I don't intend on going into the measurements and technicalities of what makes this a fantastic trike. I'll leave that to you and HP Velotechnik on their website. They can do it far better than I ever could. Okay guys, well, you've all seen her plenty of times by now, but perhaps you haven't seen her as close up as what I'm going to show you today. So whilst I'm discussing her, I'll go through all the bits that are non-standard. She's very far from being a standard trike. I have problems with one of my legs and with my back, so I've had to make, I haven't had to make, I've had several modifications added to her. So please don't look at this as a standard Scorpion trike, it's far from it. So as I run through the additional extras and the modifications that are on Trini, I'll list the additional cost on the screen. At the end we'll put together a final total for the cost of her. So if you hear any screams coming from North London, then it's probably me being beaten up by the wife. She's just found out how much this trike actually cost me. No, I'm joking, but yeah, it's not cheap guys, but it's a hell of a lot of fun. So let's make a start then. As we're at the front, we might as well start at the front. We'll have a look at these pedals. The pedals are not standard for starters. The pedals are XT8000 from Shimano. They're clipless on one side, flat on the other. So I only use the clipless side. Particularly for my right foot, I've got the clip on the right pedal has been wound as tight as I can get it to hold my foot onto the pedal with no concerns about my foot slipping off as I'm going along. Anyhow, the next non-standard item is right next to the pedals, and that's the crank arms. I went for a reduced sized crank arm, having read on the internet before I bought the trike that apparently that's a bit of a knee saver. So I think those ones are 170mm. I think that's what they are anyhow, but as I say, they're reduced anyhow. They're non-standard reduced length to hopefully save my knees. Seems to be working at the moment. Right, moving on. The boom there is standard. There's nothing additional there. The chain is standard. I didn't get a paint job done on her either. That might come in the future, who knows. If I have to strip her down one day to do any major repairs, we might get a paint job done on her. I think she looks alright with the grey and white. That's a standard colour from HP Velotechnik. Moving round, we've got the mud guards, or fenders as you Americans like to call them. They're non-standard. They had to be added front and rear. Nothing more I can say about those really. They work very well. Right, moving on to the brakes. These are disc brakes, Avid disc brakes on the front, mechanical, not hydraulic, as you can see. They're very good. They have a very short stopping distance. I've had both the front brakes linked to the right hand side. The rear brake is on the left hand side. Both brakes have this little parking brake button. If I can show you that, that's not going to be easy, is it? See this little button here? I can push that in, release the caliper, and the button stays in. I'm now, as you can hear, stuck. So that's very good on hills. Just that little button there. That's on both sides, so I can do that front and back. And to release it, we just pull the brake caliper in. There you go, you see the button come out. There we go, we're free to roll. Whilst we're talking about brakes, there's the rear brake. It's just a normal V caliper on the back, mechanical again, nothing special about that. I do believe the rear one, that is standard. So moving into the cockpit, this is my view of the cockpit. What you can see there is left and right, the two tall arms that are coming out, just here and here. They are called stand assist bars. They're an additional extra, and as the name suggests, they're there to help you stand up out of the trike. Put your hands on the top of the bars and pull, and stand up at the same time. Quite handy. But not only handy for getting up out of the trike, they're also quite good real estate for adding attachments. So as you can probably see, I've got two bottle carriers, one on each side. I also have a GoPro mount on the left hand one, and on the right hand one there would normally be a mobile phone mount, but as I'm not touring at the moment, I've removed that. But quite handy for putting accessories on as well. Downer on those, on the stand assist bars, are the grips at the bottom. The stand assist bars come with this weird way of clamping them on to the main frame of the bike. Hopefully you can see in this picture exactly how that works. Basically it's a round clamp, like a large Jubilee clip that goes all the way round the frame here. Problem with that being is if I just imitate me now getting up out of the trike and pull on the stand assist bar, yeah, that's not very clever really, is it? On the other one, on the other side here, you can see I've put some duct tape and rubber underneath it. It seems to have improved it on this side. This one actually became loose when I was in Holland, so that was a job that I did in Holland, and it's lasted up till now. Can't say I'm really impressed with the engineering on that though, to think that they just put a giant Jubilee clip on to hold something that's got to pull your body weight up out of the chair. Perhaps HP need to look at that one again, don't know. I'm not impressed. So back to my cockpit view again then. The other two things that you can see right and left are the Busch-Müller mirrors. They're also not a standard. They're an additional extra that you have to purchase. Again, they're not the best part of the purchase that I made. The one on the right hand side is broken at the bottom. I'll admit they have to take quite a bit of punishment going through gates and along the side of hedgerows and things. They do get knocked and banged. They stick out, as you can see, they stick out a bit further than the wheels, so they're the first thing that takes any punishment if you go too close to something. The one on the left keeps going loose, as you've seen in previous videos. It's easily sorted, there's just 3 screws that you need to tighten up, so not a problem with that. The one on the right is snapped at the bottom down in here. I've put some black duct tape on it at the moment to just keep it tight, but at some point I think I'm going to have to braze that to fix it. You can see it's really wobbly still, so yeah, we'll have to fix that one. It works okay at the moment, but yeah, I think the next few weeks that's another repair job that's going to have to be done. So back to the cockpit view again. The last thing obviously in the cockpit is the steering handlebars. So on the left hand side we've got the bell and the rear brake lever. On the right hand side we've got the grip shift for the Roloffs Hub and dual front brake lever. So both the front brakes act off of that one brake lever. Again, that was something I did by choice. I think standard the rear brake is a parking brake and the front brakes work right and left on a standard Scorpion. I think I'm right in saying that, but don't quote me. I had it, however, changed to front brakes on the right hand side, rear brake on the left. My reasons for that were that I knew I was going to be carrying heavier loads on tour. I wanted maximum braking on my hands. Parking brake to me is absolutely useless if I'm going downhill with a load on and I need to stop. So yeah, I figure I've got extra braking power, and they seem to work pretty well. So before we move away from the front of the trike, just wanted to have a look at the front suspension. The FS in FS26 stands for full suspension. So yeah, both sides we've got this blue spring that you can see, or actually we've got the blue cover over the spring at the front, and also there's something under there, hopefully you can pick it up. There's a white bar going across. That's what they call a McPherson strut. Apparently that has something to do with stopping the trike from squatting. When I push on the pedals, they've got something called no squat technology. So all the force that I put through the pedals goes into forward motion rather than pushing the trike down into the floor. If you want to know more about that, again, HP Velotechnik, their website is the place to look, because it's far too technical for me to explain on a simple video such as this. Also at the front is my Cat Eye Velo 9 cycle computer. There's nothing special about that really. It's a standard one off of eBay that I attached. Works off of the little magnet on the front wheel there somewhere. Yeah, down there, little magnet attached. Set that up to the size 20-inch wheels, and it seems to be fairly good at measuring. It matches GPS fairly well. Right, so now I'm off the seat, we might as well have a look at that. That's the Ergo mesh seat. Take my little cushion out. This is extra lumbar support to help my poor old back, so we can take that out and you can have a proper look at the seat. There we go. That gives me a nice width, as you've seen when I'm sitting on it, and yeah, I'm very happy with it. It supports my back all the way up. You can see the strapping underneath. That gives me plenty of support. You've probably also noticed whilst I'm doing this that we now have double side bags. Finally got round to completing that this week with a new bracket underneath. I'll quickly take the seat off and show you how I managed to do that. Right, so holding this seat on are 3 quick release clamps. I'll show you them once I've got the seat off the trike. Very easy to remove though, because as I say, they're just quick release. So that's 1, 2 and 3. So that's those 3 undone, and the seat then just simply lifts out of place like that, and we take it away. So whilst we're here with the seat off, there's 1, 2, 3 quick release clamps for the bottom of the seat. Again, I'll show you those in a moment, where the brackets are for those on the back of the seat. Under here, the only other thing under here really worth of note is the quick release clamp for folding the bike in 2. So let's undo that quick release. There's another clamp this side, and as you can see, the bike starts to fold by itself. Basically the rear wheel folds over the top of the handlebars. It's not possible for me to do it completely at the moment because we've got the stand assist bars in. They have to be removed for you to fold it up. So also, whilst we've got the seat off, it's probably easier now to look at the rear suspension. There we go. That's the rear suspension unit. That's an upgraded spring. That's not even a standard spring to the Scorpion. This one's rated to, I believe, 130 kilos, 130 to 150 kilos. I believe, something like that. But it's an upgraded spring. Again, because I was touring with loads, I knew that I would need the extra on the back. Now, wrapped around that back wheel, as you see, is the rear rack for my panniers. Another thing that doesn't come as standard on any HP trike. They have to be bought as extras. This one's pretty good. I have to say at this point, if I had the opportunity to buy a touring trike from HP Velotechnik again, I would get the FS20 and not the FS26. and that's for one reason and one reason only, that the FS26 rear cycle rack is independent of the rear wheel and the suspension. I'll show you that in a moment, but what that basically means is I've lost any capacity to store anything across the top of the rack. When I went to Holland, I stored my tent across that rack round the back of the seat, and in doing so ended up eventually breaking the rear fender. It snapped the fender in two, and that's a direct result of not being able to put anything here. I'll show you why. So you've pretty much got a good cross-section shot of the rear wheel and the rear cycle rack there. Now if I put some weight on the suspension, you can see the rear rack is moving independently of the rear wheel, as I explained before, thus rendering this space absolutely useless for any storage, because it's just going to get bashed by the fender or by the wheel as you're going along. So yeah, that has to be my biggest disappointment of this trike for touring ability. As I say, given the chance again, I think I would buy the FS20. From what I've seen of that online, the storage capabilities at the back are much better than this. But on a positive note, I'm still trying to come up with an idea of perhaps having something that comes up high enough here, another frame that comes up over here, clamped on, and maybe then store stuff further up on top of that. I don't know. There are still possibilities, it's early days yet. So whilst we're still at the back, there we go, the Roloffs Hub, 14 gear Roloffs Hub. Not much more I can say about that. Expensive bit of kit, worked very, very well. The tyres all round are Marathon Plus from Schwalbe, very good tyre. I've yet to have a puncture on this. It's over a year now, perhaps 3,500 kilometres, and I still yet to have a puncture. I'm quite happy with that. I hope I get another 3,500. So last but not least, we'll have a look at the seat. Now it's off the bike, you can have a look at the rear of the seat. Firstly, the 3 quick release clamp points are there, and here to go onto the to put it back on the bike. Very easy, they just slot in. There's nothing hard about that at all. There's the sponge that I sit on, bulk standard basic sponge, and then you've got the straps up the back that you can pull tight and adjust to make the seat more comfortable for yourself. But of more interest at the moment, I suppose, is this contraption, which has saved me about £120 to the online price. This is the bracket that I've created to hold the 2 side bags onto the side of the seat. What you have there is 3/4 inch copper piping, brazed into 2 T's at either end, and obviously bent to shape. That took a little bit of doing. That's then held into place on the back of the bike by these 4 clamps. They're simple handlebar clamps bought off of eBay for a handlebar extender. 4 of those, because it's going to have to take quite a bit of weight. Now I've got bags on each side, but on each end of that we have the Rixon & Call click lock bracket to fit the bags on. I think you've probably seen these on YouTube videos before, but I'll show you how we clip the bags in when I get the seat back on the bike. So now the seat's back on the bike, the side bags simply attach onto this clamp like so. We put the square and the teeth together, push down a little bit, and that's it, it's on. It's now connected to the bike. Do that on both sides. Very, very simple, very easy. So, having had a look at the trike, I hope you guys now understand a little bit more about what I'm riding. She's holding up quite well, considering the stick that I give her. I'm not afraid to take her off-road or over some lumps and bumps. I probably don't keep up with the maintenance schedule as well as I could. She's doing a good service actually. yeah, that one will have to wait for a week or two. I've got other plans at the moment. I'm pretty happy with it. So that's it, guys. Now you've seen my trike. There's still a few bits I'd like to do to it. Gearing, number one problem with it still for me is the gearing. My legs just can't push as hard as I would like up those hills, so I've been looking at FNEO drive, or the FNEO gearbox, thanks to James in the comments. If I could get FNEO to sell me one of their gearboxes, I'd bite their hand off at the moment, but their website doesn't seem to be working and they're not responding to emails or calls. The other one that I'm looking at is a Schlumpf drive. Problem with that one is it invalidates the warranty on the Roloffs Hub at the back, but I'm going to speak to some professionals about that, see what the risks are before we go any further with that one. Still looking for the rear mudguard, of course. That's another one that needs to be solved, the problem of that. I don't know, that one's got me stumped. Normally quite good with things like that, but we'll come up with something eventually. I'm not going to spend £189 on another set of mudguards. Right, so with that, I'm going to call it a day for this one. I'm now off on a lovely ride and going to enjoy this sunshine whilst it lasts. I think autumn's arrived. Right, I'll catch you in the next one, guys. Cheers. Ta-da.